Hello, everyone, and welcome to People of Interest. I'm your host, Miguel Guanipa. As you know, the premise of this show is based on the premise that everyone out there has a story. Every single person that you meet has something interesting in their lives that they can talk about. And I endeavor to find that out from all of my guests, and so that they can share the stories and perhaps enlighten us, or help us, or guide us, or inspire us. Today, my guest is Harry Berkowitz. He's the president of NCTV here. He also has a show on WCRN, 8:30 a.m. Welcome, Larry.
Oh,
Harry.
yes.
How you doing?
Hello.
How are you today?
Well, still going.
Still going?
Yeah, I'm hoping I get through winter without a cold. We're getting close.
You had a cold couple of 3 or 4 weeks ago, right?
Not bad.
Not bad.
No.
So
I'm hoping I make it through now.
you should be all right.
No flu yet.
You don't have anything coming up right now, right? You feeling something or something?
No. But
Okay.
we're going back to winter.
Oh no, but I think next week is going to start getting warming up, right?
I hope so.
All right. So I was asking you earlier, what are the other things that you're involved in besides the radio show that you have, and also being the president of this station?
Okay. Well, I do 3 shows on this station.
Okay.
I do the radio show, but I also sell advertising for the radio.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on the planning board, the cable advisory board, and now the CPA. I'm trying to remember what it stands for now, but that's a new board that is going to handle.
Certified Public Accountant, isn't that CPA?
Well, that's what a CPA is, yeah. And we handle money
Yeah.
on this board because it'll be the new tax that's going to be in effect July 1st.
Mm-hmm.
You'll see a tax bill go up. It's the, oh my God, how can I forget what the C stands for now? But anyway, it's
all right.
Preservation Act. It's extra money collected now that you can put toward recreation, rehabbing buildings,
Mm-hmm.
anything like that. And that the board, it's going to be a 7-member board, so it's quite large.
Mm. Well, let's talk about you a little bit, because that's the point of this show. I was wondering, you've been doing this type of media situation for like how long?
Oh, over about 30 years.
About 30 years.
On local access here.
Yeah. So when did you start doing this? When did you decide one day?
Oh, back in late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
Can't remember exactly what year.
Right.
I think it was like probably 88.
What prompted you you came to that with that idea? Oh, I'd like to do a TV show. Or
No,
something.
I was invited on a show
Mm-hmm.
to talk about changing the government in town from selectmen to town manager government.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't have a town manager at the time. We had a administrative assistant to the selectmen, but no town manager. Mm-hmm. And to change the charter, and I supported doing that. And they asked me to come on and do a show about it, and I did.
Mm-hmm.
And Sharon Krishna at the time said, "You're pretty good on TV." I said, "Well, I don't know. I had some training in it, but," she said, "Why don't we do a show?" And we started doing a show called, well, I don't know what we called it back then, but it was just her and I, and then we decided we needed a third person. We got Jerry Bagdasarian in,
Mm-hmm.
and we called it 3 on 11, because we were at Channel 11 at the time. We no longer are. We're 191 now, but...
Right.
And it was 3 of us, and we did a talk show with Collins, and we had a very popular show. We used to get tons of calls.
Hmm.
And that's got me going. I've been there ever since. Then I've added shows since then.
Yeah, there's a lot of shows on this channel right now. So what were you doing before then? Before you decided to get involved in this kind of a...
Well, I didn't do anything with the TV before.
No. What did you do before in your life? Like what kind of a...
Well, I was involved with scouting
Mm-hmm.
for a number of years. Always kept myself busy. I had to be close to probably 15 years, 20 years with scouting.
Scouting the Boy Scouts, is that what
Yeah.
Oh.
started with Cub Scouts, and as the kids got older, we moved up and into Boy Scouting.
Oh, so you have children?
2 boys.
2 boys? Well,
Yeah.
they're not boys anymore, right? They
No,
must be
no,
like
they're two men
22,
now.
23.
Yeah, no, older than that. One's 45. It will be 45. The other one's going to be 42.
2 boys?
Yep.
Oh. No girls?
Nope.
No girls.
No. Time flies by. I'll be married 50 years in a couple of years.
Well,
48 years this
they
year.
say that the first 45 years are the hardest. So
Yeah. We passed the 45-year mark.
yeah, so
It'll
you're
be
doing
48
okay.
years this year.
Oh, congratulations! So, and then before the scouting, like, what was your life? What was your life involved in, basically?
Well, I really hadn't. The only thing I did with the town was in the early '70s. I served on a special commission
Mm-hmm.
to review the LaSalle Commission in LaSalle Field.
Yeah.
LaSalle Field was not, it didn't belong to the, well, it wasn't under the jurisdiction of the schools. They had a separate committee that ran the LaSalle Field
Mm-hmm.
and maintained it. The school used it, but it was a separate committee that ran called LaSalle Committee, and they were elected. And I was on a study group to see if we should change that, and we did. Eventually, we voted as a group unanimously to allow the school department to take over, because the school department could access funds to upgrade it and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now this year they're talking about redoing the whole field with a override. I don't know if that's going to go through. At 2.7 million, I guess, a lot of money.
Okay, well, let's go back a little bit now. What I want to find out more about is outside of town involved kind of activities. Like you were
My career?
career, or were you born here in Oakridge, or
Oh yeah, I'm born. Well, I was born in Worcester, but
in Worcester? Okay.
yeah, because the hospital was in Worcester.
Yeah, yeah,
See,
yeah.
but I grew up right here in Northbridge, right on Providence Road. In fact, my
Yeah.
first house I lived in was a little bit further down, closer to the fire station.
Yeah.
And then we moved when I was about 5 years old, up to across from on the corner of Beans Lane and Providence Road.
Mm-hmm.
And I grew up in that house.
Yeah. So back then,
Belonged to my great grandfather built the house.
wow.
My grandfather owned it, and we rented there until he passed on. And then my mother and father owned it, and then they passed it on to us. But I've since sold it.
Is the house still there? Or
Oh yeah,
do you ever go back over there and look and see for memories and so forth? And
no
No?
need to.
no need to.
No, but yeah, originally it was a bowling alley.
The what?
A bowling alley.
The house you said? What was a bowling alley?
The house.
The house is a bowling alley?
Yeah, my grandfather built it as a bowling alley.
Oh, sorry.
Bowling alley and pool. And he later on decided to add 2 floors so he could move into it.
Really?
Yeah, he had lived up on Sutton Street prior to that. I'm
Wow.
going back to around the early part of the 1900s.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I got pictures of it. The road in front was dirt.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't have any cars. It was, they got back and forth by horse and buggy.
Well, I know we lived in when we lived in Forest Street. Those houses they were built like around 1880 or something like that.
Yeah.
So that was that's pretty. So you go back to the day of horse and buggies. Then you remember that? Right?
Well, I don't remember it, but I
No?
remember that they. I do remember the town being a lot different.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
I know some houses have those those blocks kind of when they used to tie horses or something in front of them. I noticed, you know, they have the brick columns sort of, and I understand those for tying your horses in there or something.
Oh, wait a minute. Well, you're talking about. I know at the town hall, if you look on the wall, there's
Yeah.
rings,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and those were put into the granite to tie the horses.
Wow, and those are still
Those
there.
are still there. Yeah, if you look at along the wall on town hall, when the parking lot is,
Mm.
the rings are still there where they used to tie the horses up.
And how many, like, your whole family was you? How many brothers and sisters did you have?
I had 4 brothers,
Yeah.
5 boys.
No girls
sister-
again.
No,
There's
no girls. No.
Because in my family, it's all girls now. I'm having girls. My son-in-law's having girls. My daughter's having.
Oh,
Everybody's got girls now. The girls are gonna rule the world, I guess.
yeah, in your
Which
family,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm okay with. So
Yeah.
wow. So yeah, 5 boys. They were younger, older, like
Well, I'm in the middle.
you're in the middle. Oh, okay.
2 older, 2 younger.
2 old and 2 young, and some of them are around, some of them are not.
Well,
What's
one's
the story?
deceased. My youngest brother's
Okay.
deceased.
Mm.
My oldest brother lives down in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And the other 2 are, well, right near me on Benson Road. We live on,
Oh, is that right?
yeah,
Benson Road too?
yeah. We
Oh.
live on the old, where my father grew up. My father was born and grew up.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
My paternal grandfather bought a farm up there. And still in the family, over 100 years now.
Wow.
Just like the 6-family house was in our family for over 100 years.
So your brother, Berkowitz from Berkowitz
Trucking.
Trucking. Okay.
Yes.
Right. Okay. It's interesting. I got a quick little story about that. I have Berkowitz disposals in my house,
Oh,
green
okay.
things, whatever. One time, my son-in-law and I were in the patio, and we were gonna start the little fire there, a little fire pit we have. So we took the ashes that were there,
Yeah.
the old ashes, we've been there for a day or so, and I put them in a bag, and I put them on one of the bins. The bins was in the front,
Yeah.
and then wouldn't you know it, this woman comes down my stairs a few minutes later, and she says, "Your bin's on fire."
They were still hot?
They were still hot, and
Oh, my.
and she was your brother's wife.
Oh,
She just happened to be driving at the same time. She saw the smoke coming out of the bin. It didn't catch on fire all the way, but he was smoking. So, oh no!
this is after 2 days?
No, after a day of the ashes being there, the next day the ashes
Wow.
were still. This was very dangerous, but
Yeah.
kind of funny but dangerous. But anyway, and did you go to Northbridge High School or
Yeah.
yeah? Now that would be which building would that be back
Well,
then?
with the middle school now.
The middle school. Oh, okay.
Yeah, because the other high school, well, believe it or not, the new high school is 20 years old almost.
Mm,
Time flies by.
it does. It does. So then you go back then and
I've been retired for 20 years now.
really.
Well, from my career job, I should say.
What was your career job?
I worked for a major tobacco company.
Really? Not
Yeah.
Philip Morris, is it?
No, they no longer exist. They merged with another and another, and
But you never smoked, did you?
yeah.
You did? Oh, okay. So you don't look. You look healthy.
Well, just because you smoke doesn't mean you're going to be unhealthy. Some
No.
people can smoke all their lives, and
But
Doesn't
you
affect
stopped at
them.
one point in the past,
Yeah.
or yeah?
yeah, because I didn't want to pay the price.
Yeah. Well, you look like you staying pretty healthy, so that's good. That whenever you stop, that's a good thing.
Well, healthy is an attitude.
Mm.
If you've got a good attitude about it, and you have to suggest, if you suggest to yourself that you won't be sick, you're less likely to be sick. Now,
Well-
it doesn't always work.
So that's why you keep telling yourself you don't want to catch a cold.
Yeah, yeah.
Where did you draw that from? That attitude? How did you
Just
come up with
my own thoughts.
your own thoughts?
Yeah. I mean, your mind. You think about you get into your subconscious mind, which really controls everything,
Mm-hmm.
and then it helps to works your own body's immune system, your own body system. Your body, it tells your body, hey, stay healthy.
Mm-hmm. I do believe there's a connection, and the connection that I think is also being shown that, for example, if you worry too much, it affects
Right.
your system. It affects your body.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You got to learn to control it. I mean, you don't want to. One thing you don't want to do is hold it in.
Mm.
If you do have problems, you got to get them out. Even if you get it out amongst yourself, and you talk it over with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But don't just, I'll never be able to handle this, or I'll never be able to do this. you can't, you'll never get it done if you do that.
So when was the last time that you remember that you practiced that method? You had something in your life that
I do it every day.
You do it every day? Well, what do you
Yeah.
have to tell yourself every day? I mean,
Well, no, but you got to get something done, you know? I
Yeah.
mean, if I wake up in the morning, I think of what I got to do, and even if you don't want to do it, you do it. You tell yourself
like
you're
getting
going to
up?
do it.
That's my problem.
Yeah,
Getting out of bed.
yeah, getting out of bed.
Oh,
But, you know, you think about things, there's things every day you may not want to do, but you just say, I got to get it done, get it
and
done.
you just get it done. Where do you think, I mean, were your parents with that kind of sturdy personalities, or your mother, your father?
I really don't know. It's something I developed on my own. You know, I mean, you face what you got to face.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, I got drafted into the Army. I didn't want to go, but I went. Then after I got there, I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
So I came out and went in the National Guard.
Mm.
So, I mean, you don't know what anything's be like unless you try it.
Mm-hmm.
But being in sales too, you know, you got to be able to walk into a place that you don't know
Mm-hmm.
and convince them to buy something that they may not want.
Yeah, yeah. You did sales?
Yeah, that's what I've always done.
Oh, what did you sell?
Well, I sold cigarettes.
Oh, right. Oh, so you sold, it wasn't like in corporate, you were like actual selling cigarettes?
I
Oh.
represented corporate out here in the field.
Right, right. So you went out door to door, or how did you do that back then?
To stores
To stores. Oh, okay.
and wholesalers.
Oh, wow.
But if you look at, I'm still selling.
Mm-hmm.
And right now I do cold selling because I go into places to try and get them to advertise on the radio.
Mm.
I go out and do interviews. I went today to a place in Millbury, S&D spinning mill, which is quite an experience. You know, and I was nervous about going there. I don't know this guy. I never been there. I don't know what the inside of the building even looks like. But I walk in that building, find the owner,
Where was this again? The what mills?
S&D spinning
S&D
in
spinning
Millbury.
mills? Oh, okay.
And it turned out to be a great experience. He gave me a tour. I got a great interview. In fact, I'm going to go back tomorrow and do some more
Mm.
because, you know, it was a great experience. I grew up in the Blackstone Valley, which had spinning mills up and down the river. They're almost all gone now. He's one of the last. He's the only one I know of still around.
Yeah.
I mean, they did it. They were doing it in Douglas for a while, but they closed, and now it's an envelope manufacturer. So, you know, if you look at the Northbridge town symbol, seal, the town seal, there's a spindle on it.
Mm. Oh, I'll have to pay attention to that next time. Yeah.
Because this was the industrial revolution that took place here in the Blackstone Valley. It was all woolen and cotton mills.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I went in there. Here was a woolen mill, and one thing they do that's unique, they're the only company in the world that Rawling buys its wool from for baseballs. The yarn. Baseball is made with yarn,
Yeah, yeah.
and their yarn is the only yarn they use. They have the exclusive contract.
That's what you learned today from them?
Yeah.
Or did you know? Wow. So,
Well, I heard that before.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Because they make, and it's not because they have a formula or anything, it's the quality of their product. He had a situation where they tried to buy it from China, they tried to buy it from India, and neither one of them could meet the quality that they give.
Mm.
And these are all the baseballs used by the major leagues.
Mm, yeah.
So
That's
you think
crazy.
about it, the baseballs that helped win the World Series for the Red Sox, the yarn came from Millbury.
Mm. That's amazing.
They put out like 6,000 pounds of yarn a month. They ship to Costa Rica, where the baseballs are put together by the Rawling Company.
All right. Let's go back a little bit in time again then. Let's say you
Yeah.
said you had 4 other brothers, 2
Yeah.
older, 2 younger. What, I mean, I know that's all 4 of them. But what were they like? What were your older and younger brothers like?
Well, the older ones, we weren't they were much older, so they had their own. But my brother right next to me, we kind of grew up together because we were only a year apart.
Mm-hmm.
So we shared a lot of the same friends. We shared a lot of the playtime together, and grew up in here at down in Rockdale right after really coming into maturity after the flood of 1955. So we played in all the debris from the flood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Built tree houses and
Wow.
cabins out of that stuff.
How big was that flood?
It was huge.
Yeah,
It was a huge
1950,
flood.
1950 what?
1955.
55. And you were how old right
Well, I
then?
was 7.
Oh, wow. So that must have looked pretty impressive to you back when you were 7.
Oh yeah, that was something. That was the biggest flood we've had in recent memory. There was one in 33, but it wasn't as big as that 55. 55 was a big one.
So there's a lot of stuff to play with then.
Yeah, with debris everywhere. Talk about. I was telling the guy at this spinning shop, they put the thread on a cone. I said, well, I'm familiar with them. We used to find them all over the woods.
Oh, is that right?
Because the mill got flooded and it came out.
Oh, okay. Wow. That was a crazy flood then.
It was something else. And, it was many years before a lot of the vegetation came back that got washed out. If you went down further, the floodplain was just wiped out. And then we used to swim in the electric pond.
The electric pond, they call it?
Yeah, that's what they called it, the electric pond. Well, I don't know. It was something to do with the fact that they used that water to produce electricity
Oh, okay,
or
all right.
something. I don't know how it got its name, but
Yeah.
that goes back before me.
Where is that pond now?
Well, it's down right where the driveway to Beaumont Nursing is,
Oh, okay. All right.
down at the end of, right after the mill.
It's still swimmable?
No, because when they lowered, there was a dam at the Rockdale Mill, and there was a big floodplain in there, and that was always filled with water.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the state told Henry Claus, you got to fix the dam or take it out. Well, he said, I don't need the dam, I don't use it anymore, so he took it out. When he took it out, the water went down, and so the water table dropped as well on the side of the pond.
Mm-hmm.
Because that actually kept the water up,
Yeah.
spring fed. Plus they put a bigger a culvert under the road to prevent from flooding in the spring.
Mm-hmm.
So now there's not enough water in there for swimming, but that was a great place to swim. I used to love going there.
So I was thinking, Berkowitz, your parents, were your parents born here in the United States, or did they?
Yeah, my
immigrate?
father was born up on Benson Road. My mother was born down in Rockdale.
Oh, okay.
My mother was French Canadian.
French Canadian, okay. And their parents, where the ancestors come from?
My father's parents came here from Poland.
Mm-hmm.
My mother's parents, well, her mother was born in Canada, but her father was born right here down in Rockdale, down in Northbridge.
Mm-hmm.
And his father had come down from Canada. We actually I had a cousin that traced the genealogy on my mother's father's side all the way back to France through Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent it all to me, a big packet, pictures and all.
Wow.
Yeah, he did a great job.
Did you see anybody in there that looked a little bit like you and stuff? Or?
Well, not really. I mean, it's hard to say. My oldest brother looked a lot like my grandfather.
Oh, okay.
I think I look a lot like my father. My father's deceased now. He'd be over 100 years old. He'd be, well, he born in 1913, so he'd be, 107 now or something like that. Yeah, somewhere in there. So 106. So, I mean, but I've had people say, boy, you look just like your dad.
Yeah, some people that met him or seen pictures of
Yeah,
him.
I know him. They knew him.
They knew him. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
But, I mean, my oldest brother, well, he looks, like I say, he took more after my mother's side of the family.
Yeah.
And same with the others, I guess. I'm the one that looks. I got the gray hair. I got the hair just like him, and yeah.
Mm.
What can I tell you?
Well, you still got some hair up there, so that's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you another thing was, if you think about one thing that people don't know that Harry Berkowitz is very good at, what would that be?
That I'm not very good at.
That you are very good at? What's that talent that people don't know about out there?
Well, probably being on TV. I've been doing it so long.
Well, everybody knows about that. I'm
Yeah.
talking about something that people don't know, a secret talent.
I don't have any secret
No
talents.
secret talent?
No, not really.
No? Were you always a good conversationalist with people, talking with people?
Yeah, I have conversation, but I do it for a living.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, not for a living. I don't get paid for being on TV. But
Yeah, but it helps you live. I
Right.
mean, have a purpose and whatever.
Yeah. But I've been called. I've been named the mayor of Rockdale,
Yeah.
and that goes back quite a little ways. This guy in town, who I won't name him. He doesn't live in town anymore anyway. I think he lives in Blackstone now. But anyway, fooling around, he wrote a letter out and he addressed it, the mayor of Rockdale, Northbridge, Mass.
Yeah. That was you.
Right. Well, that's all he wrote on the envelope,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and he mailed it, put a stamp on it, and mailed it. And it came, and the post office brought it to my house. Because I have rural delivery, they put it in my mailbox.
Yeah.
And I opened it up. It said, "If you're really the mayor, you will get this letter because the post office will bring it to you."
All right, so they
So-
know you as a mayor.
I told my friend Rod Lee, who was the editor of the Tribune at the time,
Yeah.
and he did a big story about it.
That's great.
And ever since then, but I've always been an advocate for the Rockdale Village because I am from Rockdale.
Yeah.
And I still have a lot of ties to Rockdale, and I have a lot of love for the village. So I've always worked for the village as far as being in town, involved with town government.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, I married a girl from the village.
Yeah, how did you meet your wife?
Well, we lived right here in the same part of town.
Oh, there's a lot of women that live in the same part of
Yeah,
town.
but we all hung out together.
Yeah, with other friends?
Yeah.
And so what happened? You say, hey, how you doing? Or
Right. Well, we had our hangout was up at what Sammy's now. At the time, it was
the restaurant?
Bungalow Restaurant, or
Yeah, yeah.
Oscar's Lounge. And the one side was a bar, the other side was open. And we used to go up there and just sit in the booths,
Mm-hmm.
eat French fries, drink soda,
Mm-hmm.
Pepsi, and all the kids
Soda,
would hang
no
out
beer?
there. Well, no, because we weren't of age.
Oh, right. Okay. All right.
So we'd all be up there, and she started hanging out there,
Yeah.
and that's where we met. Went out with a lot of girls prior because you want.
Does she know that? Because she might watch the show.
Oh, she knows. She knows. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, it's meant to be, I guess.
I guess it was meant to be. So you've been
So
married now.
we married in the same church we went to, and right over here in St. Peter's.
Oh, that's
Both
good.
went to the same church. Both belonged to the same church. Our parents knew one another.
Oh, is that right?
Well, yeah, because we all lived here in Rockdale.
Did that happen amongst all of your other friends, basically? They just got together with ladies from the
in
town?
some ways, yeah, somewhat, but not a lot.
So somewhat of a tight community back then.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was. My mother was from this part of town. My father lived on Benson Road.
Mm-hmm.
At the time, though, they married. That was like a interracial marriage.
Yeah? Oh,
Well,
French,
because-
Canadian, and Polish.
Yeah.
Okay.
The nationalities didn't meet. They didn't.
Oh.
You married within your nationality back then.
Wow.
They married in 1939, and back then you married within your nationality.
Mm-hmm.
See, so because that's just the way it was. You had communities, and they
Yeah.
were broken down. This was a French Canadian community down here, The Polish community was more in plumbers.
Really?
Yeah.
In Northbridge or Blackstone was it French Canadian? Was it more
No,
Northbridge?
well, no, in Rockdale, the village of
Rockdale.
Rockdale.
Rockdale, yeah. Okay.
You know, and Whitesville was, you had an Armenian community in Whitesville, you had an Irish community in Whitesville.
So everybody converged at Sammy's?
Well, now
what everybody
we
meant?
more or less merged, you know, it's a melting pot now.
Yeah.
People intermarried and things like that, but it didn't, back then, you know, when the White Machine Works, when the Whiten family ran the, well, actually Kent Swift ran the Whiten's mill,
Mm-hmm.
They broke you down. Your job was probably by your nationality too.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Really?
oh yeah,
Huh. Hmm.
that's where they broke it down.
So how did they kind of like, who was doing what then?
Well, I know the Armenians, they would put them they had them in the foundry for the most part.
Yeah. It's pretty hot in there, no?
Oh yeah, tough.
Yeah. Okay.
The French Canadians, they had them working in the woolen and the cotton mills. This was a cotton mill down here.
A little more comfortable job.
Not really,
Not really.
No.
Okay. You got a lot of long stuff.
especially in the card room.
Card room.
Card room is where they process the initial raw material, clean it up, bind it together, and make it into sheets,
Okay.
and then before it goes into become thread. And the carding room was dusty, and
Oh, okay. So it's just something also tough in there. No?
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay.
right here at Rockdale Mill. And I remember when that mill closed. I think it closed in 1952 or 53, and I'm old enough to remember all the people talking about it because everyone in Rockdale worked in the Rockdale Mill.
Hmm. So did you go, if you filled out an application, you said you were Armenian, they immediately said, oh, we got to put this guy
No,
in
they
the
didn't
foundry?
tell. They knew. They knew. You didn't have to put your nationality on. They knew.
All right. I remember one time, we talk a little bit about this. One time you told me a very nice story about when you were drafted and you ended up in Germany.
Yeah.
And a story about a call that you got on while you were in Germany. You want to just talk about that story?
About a call?
You got a phone call from this person. You were like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, he was Steve Molly. I don't know if he's still alive. I haven't been in touch with him in a long time. He probably isn't. Used to be on Facebook with him. I haven't seen him in a long time. But anyway, we grew up in Rockdale together. And, well, first of all, I was down Fort Dix, and he found me down there. He was in the National Guard. He had missed a couple of drills, so they got activated.
Mm-hmm.
And he was down Fort Dix getting ready to leave, and he came over and say hi to me down at Dix. And I said, well, I'll probably not see him again until I get home.
Yeah.
And of all things, here, I'm in Germany. I'm doing a charge of quarters that night. So I'm sitting there in the office, and the phone rings, and I pick it up, and 504th S&T Battalion, Specialist Berkowitz speaking. He says, you from Rockdale? Huh? Yeah. Who the hell is that? It's him.
Yeah.
He found me. I don't know how the hell he found me in Germany, but he found me.
Must have made a few phone calls.
Yeah, well, I don't know, he must have had some good connections. He worked he was a military police, so he probably had some ways of connecting, and he worked as he guarded the Pershing missiles. Yeah, he was in another part of Germany. I actually took the train down to see him.
Oh, wow. That's nice. So, but the last time that you had seen him was
At Fort Dix.
Fort Dix, yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
And prior to that, at home. Nice guy, Steve. And went down. He had his wife over there with him. And I spent my 21st birthday at his apartment in Germany.
Wow. How long did you spend in Germany when they sent you over there?
Well, let's see, 18 months.
18 months. Wow.
It wasn't bad. I kind of didn't mind it.
It was just to make sure some other country wouldn't get involved or something, right? I think you told me. What was the reason for the troops in Germany, the American troops?
Well, it was the height of the Vietnam War.
Yeah. Okay.
And there was concern that the Soviets would overrun Europe because we were tied up in Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
And they had the Czech Revolution had taken place. The Czechoslovakians had rioted in 1968 and wanted their country back. I don't know if you remember that. And they came close. And then the Russian government brought the tanks in and quieted everything down. But they thought that because this was happening, this was what was happening is what happened with Poland later on, back in the 1988. You remember when the Soviet Union fell?
Yeah, yeah.
But at the time, they didn't give in. They did in '88, but at that time they didn't. But it was felt at the time that maybe some other countries will start revolting. So there was concern that the Soviets would just say, hey, we're not going to stand for this anymore. We're going to just take over Europe. Or we're going to take over a good portion of it. Don't forget Germany was split. So they sent a whole pile of people over there. I mean, tons. There was so many of us. They didn't know what to do with us when we got there.
Is that
They
right?
didn't have places to put you.
Wow.
Yeah, because it was just a massive amount of, because of concern.
Yeah, yeah.
And they told us we were going to be speed bumps. We were there to slow them down if they came across. We were 25 miles from Czech border. So, you know, it's somewhat a concern. You never know. I mean, but nothing ever happened, thank God, and
Yeah.
no war.
Probably because they sent you over there.
Yeah, it could have been, you know, you try to you show your strength by doing something like that. Like, you know, like they're doing with Korea now. We're going to have maneuvers to show, hey, and they're doing the same thing. They're having maneuvers to scare someone from making a trip up, invading. But yeah, you know, I got out of there. I went to work again selling auto parts.
Auto parts. So you've always been a salesman.
Yeah, well, I started working for Christie and Thompson in Whitensville. It's now Fisher Auto Parts.
Yeah.
And the guy, I got a job there just delivering parts. And Jim McGee was the manager. He's passed on since. Nice guy, great guy. I love Jim McGee. Well, he had these screwdrivers on the counter, box of screwdrivers, that the warehouse had tons of. Different types of screwdrivers. They were selling them, I think it was 4 for $1. We're going back now. We're going back to the 60s.
Screwdriver, four screwdrivers for $1.
Yeah, we're going back to the 60s
That's
now.
not bad.
Right. Well, at the time, that wasn't a bad price at the time.
Yeah.
But they weren't selling. So I said, you know what? I could sell these for you. He goes, what do you mean? I said, well, I'll take them with me when I deliver. So I did. I sold them to every place I went to. We used to deliver to gas stations, repair shops.
Yeah.
But not only that, I'd see people on the street. I'd pull over. Hey, look, this is a good deal. Well, I sold out of those screwdrivers in record time, and then the first thing you know, they warehouse ship more in. I cleaned out the warehouse. Then they started shipping me in other stuff like electrical tape and
Wow.
anything else they wanted to get rid of. And we sold it. Well, then so Jim said, I really need a salesman out here to call on my accounts.
Yeah.
So he got me into that. But then I went in the Army. I got drafted.
Okay, yeah.
When I came back, there was no opening.
Oh.
But they had to give me a job, so they put me in a warehouse in Worcester. And there I worked on a counter, but I wasn't happy. I wanted to be out selling.
There was no opening for salesmen? I would think there was always openings for salesmen.
No, they filled the position
They
while I was
filled
gone.
the one position.
They're not going
okay.
to wait for me.
Yeah.
I'm gone for 2 years. They're not going to wait.
Yeah.
So anyway, one of the customers I had in Worcester was another auto parts company, and they asked me to go to work for them. I went to work for them. But I didn't see myself making a lot of money working at these companies because they were small companies. You know, they were only going to do so well. How much are you going to make? And I told my wife, I said, I got to do better. So I worked in a paper, and I saw an ad for a cigarette company, and I says, I'll do that. She goes, what do you know about selling? I says, I can sell anything. I don't care what it is. I applied. And I'll never forget, the guy told me it was 120 applicants. And I made it to the cut, to the cut down to, I think, 6. And then you go for a second interview with the big boss. And they liked me, gave me the job. And I spent 26 years there.
There was 120 other guys looking for the same job.
Yeah. I met a few of them later on.
You did?
Yeah. I went for that job. I said, oh, I got it.
It wasn't meant to be for them, I guess.
Right.
26 years.
Yeah.
Now this
People don't do that anymore.
No, that jobs don't last that long anymore. That's the way I guess the industries are.
Well, no, people just want to move on.
They want to move on too. They want to continue improving and doing something else. Yeah. That's different. Back in those days, yeah. People could have jobs for 30
I mean,
years.
my father retired from White Machine Works after probably, I don't know, well over 30 years.
Your father worked in the mills, huh?
Yeah, in the White Machine Works.
White Machine
Well,
Works.
actually worked at the Rockdale Mill first.
Yeah.
Then he got a job. My uncle got him a job at the White Machine Works.
Oh, wow.
You had to know somebody to get in there.
Oh.
You know, and yeah, he worked on what they called the screw job.
The screw job.
That's what it was called because they made they worked with a type of machine that was a screw machine.
Yeah.
Not making screws, but the way the machine worked. It was,
Yeah.
In fact, he worked in the section where Cormac is now. That was a new section they built.
Oh.
Later on, that was a final place.
So the Cormac building used to be part of the mill.
Yeah, the
Oh.
White Machine Works.
White Machine Works.
All of it was part of the White Machine. That whole complex was huge.
Somebody told me that mill is like a mile long. Is that correct? Or
Yeah, probably, yeah.
wow,
You think about it.
that's pretty amazing.
It was huge. Had their own train that used to take the machinery down to Linwood. I remember being in high school and looking out the window, see the train go by.
There's a train that went from the mill to Linwood.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
pretty- But the track's still there? you think, or
No, they've been taken out
They've been taken out? Huh.
long ago.
It's a lot of history there.
Yeah.
Huh.
You can see when you get on Linwood Ave where the tracks were, and actually they went all the way down to the Linwood Mill. I mean, yeah, that's where the depot was right there, where the China Pacific is. That was the railroad depot.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what that building looks like something.
It looks like a depot. It's right on the tracks.
It does.
The Rockdale depot was right down here,
Mm-hmm.
right near where the post office is now. On the other, of course, next to the tracks.
Yeah.
And I remember getting on a train with my mother and my brother and my aunt and going down to Woonsocket by train. Passenger train. And now they're talking about bringing it back.
Yeah, we talked about that at the other show. So I was wondering that this McGee guy that you said that was a really nice guy.
Yeah.
What was his first name again?
Jim McGee.
Jim McGee. Is he a good friend of yours or?
Well, he was, yeah. I haven't seen him. And he retired and went to Florida. And then I talking to somebody that told me he died of cancer after he had retired, which I feel bad for because the guy deserved to have a good retirement. But
Not long after he retired, that happened, or?
I don't know how long. But he's been retired for some time now. Or he'd
So-
been retired.
He helped you out in your younger days, or?
Well, he gave me that job as got me to be a salesman. Got me into sales. I'll never forget that. And sales have been very rewarding for me. You know, it's hard to get a good sales job unless you get experience, and somebody could give you experience.
Yeah, salesman. Some people say that to be a salesman, you're gonna have to be born to be a salesman. No, would you say, or?
No, you don't have to.
You can learn it, learn that skill.
You can learn it, yeah. But it's not just learning how to sell. It's also having a natural ability to sell.
Yeah, the natural ability. Yeah, so we can like.
To be able to talk to people. To have a good delivery.
You practice in front of the mirror before you went out
No.
to sell cigarettes, or no?
No, it just came natural.
You basically look at the person that you're talking to and try to adapt to what their
It
personality.
just came natural.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, I had a job doing. I just went in and do it.
Well, that's a good
Got a
attitude.
lot of good training from the company. They were excellent. They gave you a lot constant training.
Hmm.
You know, in eye concept. So that's why I go to work for the radio station, and I heard about it. They advertised on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
I called them up, and they said, "Yeah, come on up." And well, they love me. They said, my boss says you're unique. He says you can. That's why he gave me my own radio show
Mm-hmm.
at 3 o'clock Sunday afternoons.
Now that's that show again. You want to repeat that for the audience? Where that?
Called the about the valley, all about the valley,
All About the Valley.
Blackstone Valley.
Okay, and that's in
It's on WCRN,
WCRN
8:30 a.m. radio at 3 o'clock on Sunday afternoons. Actually, it's at 6 a.m. and 3 p.m.
So that's which one is the music one? You have one that you play music, no?
Well, I do that on NCTV.
NCTV.
Yeah, on channel 191.
Or not on the radio?
No,
Huh.
No.
Oh, so you oh, I didn't know about that, huh?
right. I do a interview show on the radio.
Oh, okay.
I do the first half of the show. I interview people from the Blackstone Valley, and like I did the S&D spinning mill
Mm-hmm.
today. That'll be on this Sunday. I forgot who I had on last week, but different people from the valley. And then the second half of the show, I sit down and talk with Jeannie Hebert
Mm-hmm.
about what's going on at the Blackstone Chamber. So it's more or less to talk about the valley and bring people into the valley.
Yeah. What are of the interviews that you had with people there? Do you recall some, or maybe one that was very, very inspiring to you? A person that you met that this person really enriched me today, having this conversation with this person. I really.
Well, not really. I mean, you know, I've interviewed so many people. I don't.
Do you recall one that says, "Wow, that's like"?
Well,
I'm
today
sure-
I thought this was very interesting. Today it was really
Okay,
something.
who was that?
The S&D spinning
Oh, okay, yeah.
with John Gurney. I mean, here's a guy who owns a manufacturing plant. He's out there on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
He's not in the office. He says, "There's no business in the office." That's what his father taught him.
Mm.
He's out there working on the floor with all his
No
help.
business in the office. You just get out there and get your hands dirty, kind
Yeah.
of. Oh, okay.
I mean, he wasn't dressed up. He was dressed up in work clothes, and him and his brothers, they worked the mill.
And he's the boss,
Yeah,
but he still gets down and works with all
Yeah.
of them. Huh.
which is similar to Jim Knott. Jim Knott was the same way. He ran Riverdale Mill. Jim was on the floor all the time. He knew how everything was going. He knew what was going on. He didn't sit in the office.
Hmm.
That's the way you do it.
Gets kind of boring in the office, probably.
Right. Yeah, but you get some of these big companies, I'm sure that you don't see the CEO down there on the floor.
Hmm. You know, my wife, one time, this is not exactly related to what we're talking about right now, but I don't know if I think it was you she was talking about. She read something you wrote one time. You do write once in a while, no?
Well, I did. I used to write a newspaper column.
Right.
I did that for when Rod Lee, my good friend Rod, decided to start a newspaper called the Northbridge Times.
Mm-hmm.
I said to him, Rod, I want to help you out. I'll write a column for your newspaper. No charge. He said, no, I'm going to pay you. I said, no, you don't have to. I said, Rod, I'm doing it for free. I just want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you only have to. I don't think he thought I could do it.
Mm.
I've always had the attitude, I can do whatever I want to do. Just do it. And so I started writing the column. Well, I don't want to brag, but he told me at the end, he says, your column is important to my paper.
Mm.
He says, people buy the paper for your column.
Wow.
So I never written a newspaper column.
You just sat down and said, I'm going to write this and I want to write it, and you wrote it.
What made that easy, too, was computers.
Mm.
when you can write using Word, it's easy to erase. It's easy to change. You can look it over, go back, change it around.
What did you usually write about when you write?
Everything.
Everything?
Yep.
All right, so the thing that you were specifically talking about, you said there was, you were talking about.
Well, I'd write about politics.
Yeah.
I'd write about just something I might see read about.
Mm-hmm.
One time I read about how these people found a pair of Levi jeans that a prospector had left behind in a cave,
Wow.
and they were probably over 100 years old. Probably 150 years old, and the value was like $500 because these were originals.
That's how much it was right now.
Yeah.
Levi's jeans.
And I wrote a column about who would pay $500 for raggy old jeans, but that's
Yeah.
what they got for them, something like that.
They sell them now with the holes and everything.
Right, I know. I wrote another column when Senator Moore, Dick Moore,
Yeah.
former state senator, he had left the House of Representatives in Boston.
Mm-hmm.
He left as a legislator to go to work for the Clinton administration in the Emergency Management Department down in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this Lou Bertinazi retired from the Senate, and he came in and he ran for the seat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wrote a column about King Richard is back from the Crusades in Washington, something to that effect.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't like that too
You
much.
didn't appreciate that?
So I put in legislation. You can petition legislation as an individual in Massachusetts. That's within the Constitution.
Mm-hmm.
I petitioned the legislature and the House and the Senate through George Peterson and Dick Moore to name the bridge down in Rockdale after Ross Rajat.
Mm-hmm.
Because Ross was a hero of mine. He's a guy who got very involved, fought in World War II, came back and got involved in town and in national politics. Knew a lot of people. To me, that was a model citizen.
Mm.
Because you can be a passive citizen, but then you're not helping to keep this country what it is. This country has to be run by the people, and you need people to get involved to run it. Well, anyway, so we had the dedication of the bridge, and we got it on tape because Sharon Apagumian taped it. It's pretty good, and Ross gets up there and he makes a speech and he thanks everybody, and then but he didn't mention me. But then all of a sudden he thought about it after a second or two, and he grabbed the microphone back from Dick Moore and he says, "Oh, I want to especially thank my friend Harry because he did a good job for this. I really appreciate what he did for me here and all blah blah blah. And I hope someday they name their bridge after him." Well, Dick Moore gets the mic back and he says, "I'll guarantee you it'll be a memorial bridge." Then he said, "Watch out, Ross, what you say. He might write a column about you." But then, we're good. We're friendly now. I'm going to have him on the show sometime. I talked to him. He's no longer. He got beat by Ryan Fatman.
Oh, okay.
And but now he still works for the state. He's got a position in the state.
Mm.
So I told him, I said, "You're better off now. Less headaches."
Less headaches, yeah.
But,
So what's I'm thinking about? You got a whole future ahead of you. Then the way that when I talk to you, I feel like you're a young man with all these great ideas and these great prospects and so.
Well, that's what keeps you going.
Yeah.
If you stop, you drop. And that's the attitude you have to
You
have.
have to be like a shark.
Yeah.
Got to keep moving.
Right. You got to keep moving. Constant. If you got a reason to get up every morning, you will.
So what would you like to do next? What would you when you think, boy, I think I got some dreams set on this. What would that be, you think?
Oh, I don't. If somebody told me, and I have a lot of authors that I bring on my show,
Mm-hmm.
and they say, "You seem like a guy who's got a book inside there." I said,
Mm.
"Maybe I do, but I don't have the discipline to sit down and write a book." That takes a lot of time.
You
Writing a column, okay, I can write a column in a half hour. Book's going to take days.
Don't you think that that would take the same attitude that you were talking about, or saying, if I'm going to do this, I want to do it?
Yeah,
Do
but
you
I
not
don't
want
want
to
to.
write
I don't
it?
want to commit myself to that kind of time.
Very little time in the day to set out like half an hour a day, and
I don't want to do that. I don't
Jot
want to commit
down.
myself to that long a time, and I don't have any ideas of what I would write anyway.
would you like to have ideas? You think to write a book? Or is that something that you think, oh, maybe someday?
I'm not really into that. It's thrilling to know when you write a newspaper column
Mm-hmm.
that all these people are reading your words. But I'm an entertainer. That's what I can do. I entertain.
That's what Elvis said.
Yeah. And that's what I do with my column. I entertained with it. That's
I-
what I do with my TV shows, my radio show. I entertain.
I read a story about Elvis. Somebody was asking him, which was great because I wish people would take this attitude more whenever they're asked tricky political questions. They said, "What do you think about the Vietnam War?" When everything was really going really bad.
Right.
And he said, "Ma'am, I'm an entertainer."
Right. You know, and we need more of that.
Yeah.
More of that attitude.
Yeah.
Some of these entertainers got their opinions are ridiculous.
Oh, so how are we doing over here? We're getting close to,
I'm not sure what.
because I wanted to share. Aaron. All right, 3 minutes quickly. Actually, I read a quote the other day. Thank you so much, Harry. But
Oh.
let me also read the quote. Really appreciate you
Okay.
joining me. But to close the show, I had a quote that I was reading from the movie. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Amistad.
Yes.
It's, it's about the Africans that were
Yeah, John Quincy Adams.
John Quincy Adams, and there's a scene where I think Morgan Freeman plays one of the lawyers, and he's talking to John Quincy Adams, and we're trying to sort of deliberate on what are they going to do with these Africans that were left in the middle of nowhere here, and now they have to fight for their freedom and so forth.
Well, they actually took over the boat,
Yeah, right,
the boat they were on,
right,
and then they ended up in American waters.
yes, yeah,
But
You-
slavery was not banned yet.
mm-hmm,
But what was banned was you couldn't bring any slaves in.
right.
So it was a question of what do you do now? They were not from America.
Mm-hmm.
They were from, I think, Cuba.
Yeah, somewhere in there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Cuba. And you couldn't bring, so, you know, the slave trade had ended as far as bringing slaves from the outside.
Mm-hmm,
But slavery was still well in existence in the South,
mm-hmm,
in a number of states. But they had to be born here. You
yeah,
could be born into slavery, but you couldn't be brought in from Africa into slavery.
yeah.
Or,
Well, so I
from,
found-
from any of the islands, because the islands are loaded with slaves too.
But it's a great quote that I thought would be could relate to the show, which is show is about stories. And so the setting is that Morgan Freeman is talking to John Quincy Adams, and John Quincy Adams asks him, he says, "What is their story?" So he's actually talking about the Africans. He says, "What is their story?" And Morgan Freeman says, "Well, they're Africans." And so John Quincy Adams, which is played very well by Anthony Hopkins, says, no, says, "What is their story?" And so he continues and tells Morgan Freeman, says, "Mr. Jolson, says, you're from where originally?" And he says, "Georgia, sir." And so this is the quote that I thought was really appropriate for our show. With John Quincy Adams responds, "Does that sum up what you are, a Georgian?" He says, "No." He said, "You're an ex-slave who has devoted his life to the abolition of slavery and overcoming great obstacles and hardships along the way, I should imagine. That is your story." I thought that was such a great scene where he just says, there's more to every person that you meet. There's so much more. And when he was asking the story, that is your story, telling him that is your story, he was saying. Let's find out more. And with that, thank you very much, Harry. Again, it was an honor. Appreciate it.
No, no.
And
That's what I do.
That's what I do. And we'll see you again in People of Interest next week. Thank you for
Okay.
joining us.